All right, so let me begin by saying this looks okay. It looks actually not bad, but there's a couple of things that I do want to point out that is problematic moving forward, right? So let's look at the neck for instance. So this is okay, but I think it could be a little bit better, right? So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to do the following to your character. I'm going to go to the editable polygon. And, oh, you did it on the other side. Okay. So I'm going to just select this whole region. Make sure that it's, oh, you have this guy turned on. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. And there we go. Bye-bye, right? So, and the reason why I'm doing this is because right now, this looks incorrect, right? You're trying to do a female model, but first off, the shoulders are a bit incorrect. And also with the breast, it's not necessarily this kind of shape that you want to have for the breastplates, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to fix it, right? So I deleted those polygons, and I'm going to go to vertices. Then I'm going to go ahead and move this more circular, because you see it's a person, it's a female character. Females tend to have more curves, right? These are straight lines. All of these are straight lines. They have to be curved. This is a straight line right here. So I need to move the middle point more like that. See that? And then, you know, I'm gonna just use the isolation mode. So I'm gonna hold Alt. Sorry, I'm gonna select and then hit Alt and Q. So I hide everything else, right? All right, so you see now we have sort of like if it's a top of a dress or something like that, and we need to also incorporate one other thing. So let me go back to polygons, and I'm gonna bring in this panel, which I got it from up here, right? So, and also I'm going to bring the vertice panel, which I also got from up here, right? So I undocked it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a swift loop right here in the middle, because this is a straight line that we have to fix, right? Move it up, right? And then again, a straight line. So you got to look at it from different angles. That's very important, right? Everything has to be a curve, not a straight line. Until it looks fairly decent, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move this one down and then this one out, because I need this to be also a curve for the shoulders, right? Beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and select all four faces, and holding shift I can then push this out to make the shoulder, right? I'm gonna straighten this up by scaling it like that, right? So it's a straight line now, but we're gonna make it into a curve right after. So I'm gonna use the rotate tool and rotate it something like that, right? And now there's a straight line here, so all we have to do now is curve, fix pretty much these points, right? So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the vertices, and because it's such a low polygon model, I'm going to start to adjust this vertex like so, right? Next, we're going to take these two, and then we're going to bring it back, right? So again, I'm making a curve. Then this and this be back a little bit, right? Same thing with this. Actually, I'm going to move three points at once. And then the middle points can also come out as well, right? Control, side, right? And now we have a straight line here. So all we have to do now is grab these 2 points and just bring it something like this, right? Right, so I'm making the shoulder area first. So now I'm gonna take where is it? Polygons that are at the bottom here, right? Those 2, and delete, right? And now we have to add another segment. So swift loop, there it is, right? And now we can actually get rid of this line. So vertices, go and grab the one on top, which is against this one right here. Right, just a little bit like that. And again, it's a back and forth thing, right? Like you know, it may look okay now, but then later on you may change your mind. And you're allowed to make those adjustments later too, right? So I'm breaking the idea that this is a box, but more of a circle, right? When you see this smooth, it looks more like that. It's shoulders, right? Now let's correct the whatchamacallit. I'm going to go back to the Turbo Smooth, turn on isoline display, and turn 2 iterations. So it looks more simplified, yet very smooth. Alright, so we'll go back to this guy. And I'm going to turn it to Turbo Smooth for a minute. And what we're going to do next is fix the shoulders, right? Going to the neck. So edge, double click the edge. And I see that it's somewhat, let me just move this for a minute. Yeah, see, it didn't do it correctly. So at some point, I'm going to have to correct this, right? I'm going to hit F4 so I can see the wireframe. But yeah, see, it's looking at this as a loop going around the back, but I want it to go around the shoulders, right? So that means that this triangles cannot be there. Is that a triangle or what's going on here? No, it's actually a quad, but it's not working, and I'll show you how to fix that, right? So we are going to use the cut tool, and we're going to join. Actually, you know what? We're gonna delete these parts first. So this one we can get rid of. Oh, sorry, my bad. There. So I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to erase this. And hit remove. Now it's no longer a quad, but it's or a triangle, but it's now an n-gon, right? So if I smooth it out, you can kind of see it, how bad that is. So I'm going to turn it off again. Instead, we're going to use the cut tool, and now we're going to go ahead and create those quads that we need, right? So there's one. Whoops. I guess yeah, it's there. Then number 2, and hopefully it sees it as I see. Okay. It's hard to see it with that color, so I'm going to change this back to gray for a minute, so it's a little bit easier to see those yellow lines, because you had a sort of pinkish flesh tone, and that's fine, but it makes it a little bit difficult to see these. So I think this is also an area that needs to be addressed. Yeah, okay. So right now we have an n-gon here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that into a quad as well. There. Alright, so now let's make sure there's no vertices floating around, because usually there's vertices along, but we'll check out the Swift loop. There we go, right? So it goes around. Now we have to do the same thing here though, right? So it goes right across the shoulder. So again, once again, I'm just gonna go ahead and here you can see it a little bit better, right? So if I take the edges off, like right, these two edges, remove. Now I have an open section that we can make 3 lines. So this will be the first one. These right click, yep. And then this one here goes between those 2 lines. There. So they're all quads now, and let's try the Swift loop. And there we go, right? So now it goes right across that area. So now I'm not going to do the Swift loop. Instead, I'm going to double click the edge. So it should select that whole edge now. And if I take I guess I can use this tool, right? Oops. I guess I got to select this to double click. There. Now everything's selected. And now we can actually continue the process. Now this we're going to do it a little bit different. Let me see something for a second. Sorry, my phone was just going off. Okay. Yeah, so what we're going to do next is we're going to move the pivot point right in the center here, right? So let me see if I can figure out with this, the selections. Nah, it's not going to work. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to use a scale instead. So I'm going to use scale in the middle, right? You see, you get this kind of effect from the top view. But now we just bring them closer to one another, right? Something like that. So now you have a hole for a neck, right? And we can use a Swift loop right there, right? And now we have a section that will work as a neck. And the collarbone too, right? So this will be the collarbone, right? And then this, you'll be able to then grab the vertices and set them in a way that you'll make muscle the details, right? So now let's figure out how to fix the breast, because I think these don't look natural, right? So if you want to make this more anatomically correct, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete these breasts for now. But hold on a second. Let's try using a Swift loop in the middle here, right? Because you'll need to separate them and not keep them together like that, right? So now, oh, I hope it didn't crash. No. Oh, good. Okay. All right, so it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete these polygons. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing right there that you're seeing. Damn it. Okay. So what can we do about this? Let me just restructure how it was before and see it a little bit more clear. The problem is that this should be more of a loop going around, but there's this triangle, or it's a face that's kind of intercepting. So what we can do is we can take these two vertices. Let me see what works. Let me just move it manually. that might work, but yeah, this is kind of weird. It's just the way you build it, right? It creates a little bit more challenges. It's not that it's broken, but it's just have to do it a little bit different, right? So yeah, because if we delete this, we're gonna have a sort of cut right up to the shoulder. So what we're gonna do is, anatomy wise, we are going to drive all of this, the chest, through part of the arm, right? So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay. So I'm gonna grab the Swift loop, but it's gonna go up. Oh man, okay. About that. No. Yeah, this is the problem right here. Right? This should be coming down, not going up. So I think, you know what, it might be better to just do it from the beginning. And the reality is that this won't take that long, right? One second. So let me show you what let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm gonna just reset this, and I'll do it really quick, because not that, I mean, you know, once you do it once or twice, it becomes more easier and easier and easier, right? So start off with a cylinder, because the body is more cylindrical. So I'm gonna make a cylinder. I'm gonna hit S on the keyboard so it snaps on the grid. Then make a nice large cylinder. And so now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and change it to from 18 to 8, right? This way, this becomes more polygonal, right? So I'll zoom into this F4 so you can see the wireframe. And that's the first step, right? That's going to be part of this, the upper body, right? So I'm going to make it a little bit lower. And I'll do it quick, right? So we'll use less. We'll start with 3, and then we'll increase it as we go. Next step is to turn it into an edible polygon, right? So here we go. Next, we're going to use this. I'm going to move this over so this doesn't get in the way. So like half of this, including the top and bottom, and hit delete. And there we go. So we have just half a cylinder. Then we're going to apply a symmetry. So symmetry. And on top of that, we'll add a turbo smooth. And then we're going to turn on 2 iterations and then isoline display. There we go. Now I usually leave this off at first, because we don't need to see it just yet, right? At least a turbo smooth. Alright, so now we're going to shape this like a female human body. So quickly, I'm going to go a little bit fast, so if I make mistakes, forgive me, right? So we're going to make the waistline right here. We have only that amount of vertices to start making the waistline, right? Now, I'm going to go to the side view and use a scale tool and just kind of squish it in one axis as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and move it more like that, right? To start creating a S shape. The next step is going to be rotating, right? Because a human body is not linear, right? It's full of curves. So the more you start using something like that, the more you'll already see, right, this becoming a torso, right? And then for the neck part, this should be more like this, right? Okay. Now this will serve as a breast area. This will be for the shoulders. these polygons, these two polygons right here, are, this one in general, right, can be used for the shoulders, right? So I'm going to just set it up like that, so that way when we create shoulders, it'll come out more in that straight direction, right? Now we can actually fix this now, right? So I'm going to keep it more like a square, right? Close anyways, not exactly. And then obviously nobody has a chest that pops that far out. So because from the shoulder to the chest area, that's a little bit too far. So we're going to squish it a little bit, right? And same thing with the back, right? And then of course we're going to fix the shoulders, right? Perfect, right? So we'll come back and fix some other stuff. So now we're going to go ahead and click this, double click, same situation, right? Hold Shift, and then just bring this all the way up. Right? And that's a lot better, right, for creating the neck and shoulders, right? So let's just bring it out a little bit. And the goal here is to always leave yourself with cylinders or circles, right? So this is going to be a neck, but at some point I'm going to add a swift loop in the middle, right? So now I have points that we need to make it more of a circle, right? Close enough, right? Okay, so now we can make one in the middle, right? What I was trying to do earlier was I was trying to establish. Did I just do something wrong? Yes. I tried to establish now more of space in the chest, right? So when you look at this, you're thinking about now rib cage, right? So this will be more of a rib cage. We probably need another swift loop here and another one right here, right? So you get the abdominal wall now that you can start to create, and I'm gonna go ahead and start to bring this a bit more at a curve, right? Alright, so now we can go ahead and build the heck's called again? Oh man, collarbone, right? And then we can then go ahead and grab this face and pull it out just like that, right? And then rotate it, right? Same thing with this. We can take what's called grab the vertices. Right? It's starting to get look somewhat broken, but there's a way to fix all of this polygons like that, right? But for now, I'm going to leave it like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and select the one underneath here. And I'm going to also fix this loop. And the reason why is because it's equal in distance all around, and nobody has that, right? So that means that this loop here, or edge, I guess, in this case, has to come a bit closer now, right? Now you can use the edge up here, and that allow you to travel within normals of that polygon, right? So spread those guys out, and then grab the vertice and do the same thing, right? So that's a good way to start. And then fix the shoulders again. And then again, once right here, right? And then we're going to create a line right here, right? Because this has to connect with the chest, right? So now, remember again what I said. Let's get rid of anything that looks flat like a curve. Make it like a curve, I mean, right? So again, you know, I'm not worrying about perfection at this point because we're not at that stage yet. We're trying to just establish a blocking of the character, right? Again, flat line, curve it. Oh, we gotta turn this off. There we go. And again, straight line, curve it. And then we got to fix this because it's too, once again, it looks too straight. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to move it up, then grab this and move it up, all in one shot. Then we can go ahead and grab these 2 points and push it out, right? Okay. Obviously, they're a little bit too big to constitute as a female, so we can adjust that as we go, right? But now let's do the chest, right? So the chest would probably start from here to around here. So that means that we're gonna have to move some of this stuff around just a tiny bit. And probably use a swift loop one more time. Okay, so now let's just move this. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. Rotate it, right? And then just move it up, right? So now we're going to go ahead and turn this into more of a circle. So, because obviously you're going to make a set of breasts that are like a square, right? So we're going to go ahead and pull this out like that. And then if it seems like we need one more edge loop, then we will, right? There. Now we have the polygons that can form sort of a circle, right? I'm gonna grab the edge so it snaps, and I can definitely change the angles of this. It doesn't have to be very precise right away. Remember, we're building it right now, right? So whatever's close enough will work. So that's starting to look more like a breast. All right, so now what you do next is you block out the shape, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and select this. And instead of extruding this, I'm not gonna do it that way. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and delete and grab this guy. And then I'm going to go ahead and double click. And you see it grabs the edge. So I want it to select the whole region. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit Control. Click, click. Use a scale tool. Oh. I have to turn this off. Hold Shift, and then pretty much we can go out and scale out the geometry. Now these are all quads, right? So the good news is that you can now move this somewhere like that, right? It's still low geometry, so we can still figure out the form and shape. You can also use Swift Loop and then use scale, right, to start giving a more of a shape, right? So I'm gonna start to atomically fix the shape, right? So it's a back and forth thing that you gotta do, right? So it's not a thing that, you know, you're gonna extrude and there you go. It's a matter of like getting familiarized with these tools and how they work, right? So again, you know, I'm gonna just grab this point, move it a little bit closer. Right. And again, you want this to be a curve and not a straight line too much, right? So a curve, right? Because nobody has something like that in the middle of their chest. If anything, it's the opposite, right? But it all depends on how, you know, your body type is as well. So what do we do with this area? Well, that's easy, right? You can take the come on, where is it? Edge tool. Double click, and again we're just gonna make another edge, right? And then just zoom in real close, and at this point it's up to you what you want to do with that area. I'm just going to fill it up with polygons, right? So let's take a look at it for a minute. A lot of times what artists do, they'll take that area and just will join that and make it to triangles, and that's fine, right? So I'm going to weld that. There we go. And that's it. So now we can just move the vertex just a tiny bit out. Oh, look at that. It left with a couple of vertices. That's kind of weird. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all these vertices and weld them there, and then move this out. Right, so the shape and everything that you want this to be, that's all up to you, right? You can actually modify them any way you like. It's because I have the right. So again, this is just the backbone of how you would start building a female character, right? And I'm gonna deselect this. I don't know why I selected all that, but right. So this is all a loop, all loops, right? Anything with curvature is a loop. Sorry, this is what I gotta select. Right. And now because we did it this way, with let's say if we want to select them now, the whole breast. God dang it. Gotta do it again. Okay, so I'm going to just deselect that. Right, and then use the grow option. And at this stage, you can even grab the whole piece and start to adjust it this way, right? Right, so this is just, again, like I said, it's blocking out the shape. That's what this is all about. We're not worrying about the fine details yet, right? You're blocking the shape to make a female model. Right now, I'm going to make a rib cage. So this line goes down, then this point too. Probably bring these 2 points up. Right? And then I'm going to adjust the back as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that, but I think, you know, it might be important for you to sort of analyze these steps. And the reason why is this actually is very easy after you do it once, right? And using the steps that I've been using all this time, I mean, will help. Like, look, if I wanted to make a neck, for example, now, all I have to do is double click the loop up here, and then grab the move tool and hold shift, right? So now we can extrude a neck. And obviously nobody has this lump here. So I'm always looking for areas that look unnatural, right? So something like this is now going to be gone, right? And this row of vertices can be part of collarbone, right? Right. So again, you know, giving you the idea on how to start shaping a female model, right? So you gotta give her more of that, I guess. And if you need to change the size, then all you do is go to grow, and you can use the soft selection, right? And now the whole area here that's all colored, it's an influence. I'm going to bring it down. Right? And we can adjust the size. We can also still rotate it. Same thing with the shoulder, right? I'm not going to undo. The shoulder can be also rotated a little bit, right? Sky's the limits, man. So just if you have any questions, send me an email or find me here on Microsoft Teams. Yeah. I'm really like forgetting English today. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it like that, and I'll see you then with the next time or next assignment, right? Okay.